all set for the Chandrayaan-3 mission. The Indian Space Research Organization is set to launch its third lunar exploration mission, Chandrayaan-3, which is scheduled to take off at 2:35 p.m. today from the Satish Dhawan Space Center in Sriharikota, Andhra Pradesh. The mission will be launched by the LVM-3. ISRO has notified that the launch rehearsal, which lasted for 24 hours, has been successfully completed as well. Before we begin the telecast with our special guests and reporters to help you understand what really will be happening in the course of the next few hours and then of course the next couple of weeks, we first take you through this video that has been released by ISRO explaining all details about the mission. Have a look.
Moon. This familiar object in the night sky has inspired the imagination of astronomers and ordinary people alike. From time immemorial, humans have marveled at the beauty of the moon, used it to count time and navigate the high seas. In modern times, Moon, the only natural satellite of the Earth, has acquired added importance due to the belief that Moon is the key to our understanding of the evolution of the solar system in general and Earth in particular. Besides, Moon's precious resources and low gravity have further endeared it to humans. India, a major spacefaring nation, has conducted a detailed exploration of the Moon through its Chandrayaan program. The country has sent 2 robotic spacecraft to orbit the Moon and to take a repeated look at its surface. Chandrayaan-1 demonstrated India's ability to reach the surface of the Moon at a place and time of its choice. And with it, India became the 4th country to reach the surface of the Moon in November 2008. Besides, Chandrayaan-1's conclusive discovery of water on the Moon in 2009 was praised as a path-breaking discovery. The follow-on mission, Chandrayaan-2, had an orbiter, a lander called Vikram, and a rover named Pragyan. In the past 4 years, the orbiter has repeatedly observed the lunar surface and even today is working satisfactorily. Now, 3,900 kilograms Chandrayaan-3 spacecraft is being sent to the Moon with the objective of making yet another focused attempt to slowly land on the lunar surface and to explore it with the help of a rover. Following the spacecraft launched by India's most capable rocket, LVM-3, the Chandrayaan-3 lander carrying a rover within it will be carried into an orbit around the Moon by the propulsion module. A little later, the lander will separate from that module and will attempt to make a soft landing in the south polar region of the Moon. This region is of intense interest as it has many permanently shadowed craters which could contain water ice and precious minerals. Chandrayaan-3 lander has 4 scientific instruments or payloads, of which one will study the moonquakes, while the other one studies as to how the surface of the Moon allows heat to flow through it. The third one will study the plasma environment near the Moon's surface. And the 4th instrument will enable scientists to measure the distance between the Earth and Moon very accurately. The 2 instruments on the rover help us study the composition of the Moon's surface using X-rays and laser respectively. While the lander and rover will be in direct contact with each other, the propulsion module circling the Moon will observe the light coming from Earth. the only planet which we know which is definitely teeming with life. This observation will help in understanding the nature of distant planets circling stars other than the Sun. As Chandrayaan-3 undergoes important tests and gears up for launch, thousands of ISRO scientists, including those who will launch it, control it, and receive the precious scientific information from it using giant dish antennas, are readying themselves for the challenging tasks ahead. In the past, their dedication and skill have enabled India to earn praise from across the world and made it proud. Let us wish them well in this great endeavor called Chandrayaan-3.
So there you heard it. That was an entire sequence that has been released by ISRO, and viewers, stay tuned with us because we will continue to decode Chandrayaan-3 as much as we can with our guests and experts who will join us through the course of the day. Joining me on that note is, I have with me on the broadcast Mr. Ratan Srivastav. He's a space expert. And we also have with us my colleague Brian, who joins us from New Delhi. In just a short while from now, we'll also be joined by our colleague Mr. Jayaprakash from Sri Harikota. Let me begin, if I can, with Brian. Mr. Ratan, I'll just come to you in a moment, but Brian also with us. Brian, where exactly are you standing, and what exactly is the excitement level around you?
I am at New Delhi, and as you can understand, it's a momentous occasion for the entire country, for India. It's a project that costs a whopping of 615 crore, and this is something which is a breakthrough in its course. I mean, even if we talk about Chandrayaan-2, we do not consider it as a failure because it just couldn't land. It just 750 meters away from the landing, it somehow couldn't make a soft landing. But in the course of that also, it made its plight. Even in, if you can see, talk about Chandrayaan-3, it consists of a rover and a lander, and the life expectancy of the lander and the rover is considered to be 14 Earth days, which is 1 lunar day as well. And it is a huge occasion. The LVM-3, the GSLV, which is also called the Fat Boy, is heavy in its own course, and the lander is also expected to make a soft land. The rover also consists of 2 payloads, which is supposed to show the moon surface with its X-ray and the other technologies, and also the lander, which has 4 payloads. Apart from that, also it will not only study the moon quakes, moon surface, yes, but also it will also study. It will also look at Earth from moon to study the habitual limitations and everything from moon. So this is considered to be a very, very important and a very prestigious day for the entire India. It is supposed to start at 2:35 at Sri Harikota, and it's expected to reach during August. Yes.
All right, Brian, stay on with us. Mr. Ratan Srivastav, I'll come to you in just a moment. Sir, I believe we've managed to share this document that has been released by ISRO as well, and I'm just on the second page. Let's try to put this out on our screens if we can, because this is the interesting part which our viewers, of course, want to understand this morning. When we, of course, Mr. Srivastav, look at the moon, it does seem very close to us, sir, but in reality, of course, is very far. What is so special about the method that ISRO uses in order to launch its vehicles? When we see the sort of, I've put out, I'm on the second page, sir, just for your reference, we've put out the trajectory for our viewers. What is the trajectory that the Chandrayaan-3 mission will be undertaking, how it goes in these elliptical sort of circles around the Earth. And we know that this is a special method that is employed by ISRO, which saves a lot of money. It takes more time, but it saves a ton of money, and it does get the job done. If you can just help explain our viewers a little bit more about this, sir.
The document that you are showing, if you go to the page 10 of the same document, I think you will get the answers to the question that you just asked me. because this document shows about how we are injecting the the module which controls the propulsion module, the lander and the rover away from the gravitational pull of the Earth and taking it to the lunar orbit, which is in 100 kilometer by 100 kilometer range. So this is something that is given out in page 10 of the document, if you could look at that. But having said that, in about 960 seconds after the launch, the module will come out of the fairing, and the fairing would separate, and thereafter it will start its elliptical orbits. As you said, it takes more time, but it's more economical as well as it's more precise. And we have done this earlier because we have taken the Chandrayaan 2 experience, where the orbiter was able to land at the lunar orbit and inject the rover and the lander into the surface of the moon. But however, it was not possible for the lander to land, as you probably are aware.
Right, absolutely, sir. Thank you for that explanation. And as Mr. Ratan was pointing out, let me just take our viewers a little bit more through. If we can just keep this document on our screens, that'll be a lot more helpful. I'm going to just request our PCR crew. Thank you so much for that. This is the mission sequence, viewers, that has been put out by ISRO. The first phase is the Earth-centric phase. This includes the pre-launch, the launch and ascent, and the earthbound maneuver phase. The second phase is the lunar transfer phase, the transfer trajectory phase. So I'm just going to come back here, right here. So this entire part that you see in red highlighted on your screens is the Earth maneuver phase. This is a method, and like I said, we will try to explain it further. This slingshot method that ISRO deployed the last time around as well, on how the Chandrayaan will go across the Earth in these elliptical circles, and then it will be onwards towards the moon. So this is, of course, the lunar trajectory phase. Like I said, the second aspect. So right here is when the lunar trajectory phase also starts, which means that the Chandrayaan 3 will be sent towards the moon. And then, of course, we come to the third phase, which is the moon-centric phase, and that in itself has another 7 phases in it. It has a lunar orbit insertion phase, the moon-bound maneuver phase, the PM and lunar module separation phase, the deboost phase, the pre-landing phase, the landing phase, the normal phase for the lander and rover, and the moon-centric normal orbit phase, which is 100 kilometers circular orbit around the moon for the propulsion module. Mr. Srivastav, I'm just going to once again pick your brains a little bit, sir. As far as the moon-centric phase is concerned, I'm sure from the last time around, a lot of people do remember what the trajectory was around the Earth. But if you could just help simplify this for our viewers, sir, as far as the moon-centric phases are concerned, what really are we looking at, and what is the time stipulation here?
So the moon-centric phase begins once the injection of the propulsion module starts into the orbit of the moon, away from the gravitational pull of the Earth. Having said that, the challenge is not there. The challenge is actually when the lander and the rover are going to do the landing on the surface of the moon sometime on the 23rd of August, as it is planned today. And on 23rd of August, it has to do the landing precisely on the first day of the lunar day. A lunar day on the moon is for 14 days. So it has to be there on the first day of the lunar day so that it can finish its mission life of 14 days. The mission life is of 14 days only. Hence, we have to ensure that the entire schedule of experiments and the data gathering that we have to do, we are able to do. However, we must also understand that the data that we're going to collect from the surface of the moon is going to be transmitted to us at the same time. But it is possible that the lander and the rover could also function after the night of the moon, that is after 14 days when sun comes up again. It could be possible. It is carrying very powerful solar panels and it's carrying about 780 watts of power, which is good enough to last.
For more such videos, subscribe to the NewsX YouTube channel, hit the bell icon.